Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Konadra here. Welcome back to the Mindcrack server for the 98th time. Today, Monday, the first day back here on the Mindcrack server after a little bit of a break there as I was out traveling. And today we're going to pretty much discuss the traveling and the adventures that have been had. I went out to PAX South, which is a kind of a gaming convention. I don't really know what PAX is supposed to be. I don't know what it was initially supposed to be. All I know is that it's an event that people that are interested in the things that I am interested in tend to go to. Honestly, though, I've never been interested in what PAX itself is selling. I'm not, although I certainly am part of the gaming industry. You know, what I do is a subset of the gaming industry. I really don't have a lot of deep-rooted ties into like the latest and greatest of gaming technology or the latest releases. The stuff that I am interested in doesn't tend to be things that are showcased at, you know, conventions like this. So at the end of the day, it's an event that is to some degree irrelevant to me. It's more than anything just an opportunity to meet up with people that are vaguely connected to the gaming world that you know, we wouldn't otherwise have an opportunity to see. This is, let's see, this would be the third year going to PAX South. And then I also did PAX West or PAX Prime last year. I am trying to think, and I can't think of a single case of something directly related to the event of PAX that I'm like, that's the reason that I go to PAX. None of the, like, never have I had like a game that came out in a certain year and I was just so excited that to see it that I was, you know, excited that I was there for it. Seen some mildly interesting panels, and they basically end up being like shows. It's almost usually like a comedy show. I know 3 years ago, the first year that I went, I think. Yeah, the first year, went to a panel that was with Movies with Mikey. That was, you know, it was a funny panel. It was a show. It wasn't even like like a panel as much as it was just an act. You know, it was a demonstration of basically his show in real life, and that's interesting. And I am not gonna sit here and like talk bad about PAX, or, you know, if PAX is something that you want to do, that's fine and hunky-dory. But for me personally, it's all about the people. It's all about the people that can go and, you know, reconnecting with those that I don't get to see very often. It's usually one of those very few times in the year that I get to see people like Kurt and, you know, other, let's say, industry friends. I don't like saying it that way because it sounds less sincere, doesn't it? It sounds like these are people that I talk to just because they're you know, content creators. Not typically actually the case there. That paints a picture that I don't think is true. It's just that they happen to do this kind of stuff, and I've happened to started talking to them over the years. Unfortunately, the large majority of those people ended up not being able to go this year, so that was a little bit of a bummer. But it was also the first year that I was going to basically treat it as purely a vacation, not there was not meant to be any any work part of this, and then that went straight out the window basically immediately because there was grand plans that got schemed, and that was that we're gonna do some basically in real life Cone's Garage stuff on location. We had this super cool idea. Like, I mean, I already talked about this stuff on stream, but I'm going to talk about it again because I really do think it was super cool. It would have been an amazing experience. But last year, the PAX South experience, I befriended ZK and Baka, who are two people that live out in Texas, part of our communities. Interestingly, the first year I met the two of them, weren't terribly familiar with me, and they come from the side of, I would say, the Mindcrack community, and mostly the CoStar community, overlapped with Kurt's community, which then, you know, we had that little meetup there a couple years ago, and then, of course, overlapped with my community and me. And it's really great that that happened, because I do think that me and ZK have pretty similar automotive interests, and I know there's been some things happening in the background that never really happened to come together, but there's been some musings of perhaps some kind of automotive content collaboration between the two of us. But yeah, we came up with this really cool idea. He and his brother have a 1964 Chevy Corvair. It's been a car that's been sitting for a very long time, and I mean, as far as we know, like the 80s. And hatched a plan last year that we were going to drive that car from Texas to Washington, and basically the car was going to change hands at that point. Another friend and community member up there in Washington was going to take the car, and that was going to be a pretty cool experience. And that was pretty much the height of 2018 Cone midlife crisis. Sure. Maybe midlife crisis is calling that a little early. Maybe we're not quite there yet, but it very much so felt like that for me. I was desperately hunting for just things to do, things to, like, not cross off a bucket list, but just things that felt like accomplishing things. And doing a cross-country trip was one of the things that I wanted to do. That trip ended up not going through, and in that, I kind of got left with a little bit of a void, you know? Like, I felt a little empty. Like, I needed something like that. I needed some kind of experience like that I just ended up not having. So, over the course of time and discovering that I wanted to do a PAX South trip, we hatched a little plan together to mini roadkill the car from where he lives in Texas over to PAX South. Like a 3-hour trip down back roads. So it's going to be super cool. And some logistic stuff didn't work out. Didn't have enough time to get the car going because the car ended up needing an engine rebuild. Not utterly surprising considering how long it's been sitting. Sorry, I'm thinking of what I need for an overhang here because it looks a little silly right now. But yeah, so that ended up not taking place, but we still worked out something, and I did make it a working trip. I brought my mobile streaming setup and set up a little Cone's Garage stream in his house, and we pulled the engine out and under from the Corvair. It was really cool. It was really cool. And I think the coolest part for me, I'm gonna go ahead and work on the front part. The coolest part for me was that all of that was happening and at an interesting point. It was the hold on, I gotta count. 15, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. It was the 6-year anniversary of me starting to do YouTube videos, and everything that was happening on that day, the trip to PAX South, the people I was hanging out with, staying with the cars, going to ZK's place and you know, and working on the car and streaming that, all of that was a snowball effect of doing that first video. And it felt really good. Because I've been definitely feeling lately a little bit like I'm questioning if everything that I've been doing here is worth it, and if it's had, you know, enough of an impact. And it was just a great justification moment. All right, so what am I doing here? Let me close in this front. I have an idea for the front that I think is gonna look pretty cool. I'm gonna do the front basically completely open. I know I've already put this across here, but that kind of needs to be there. I want to do black glass on the front, and I want to do like a business style entryway there. I want to see what that would look like. All right, let me make all of this into black glass, and then most of it into panes. I probably actually made way too much of the black glass, but I don't know. Maybe I'll use it later. Okay, so let me see what this looks like. And I don't know what I'm going to do for a header just yet either. I just want to make sure that the colors don't clash terribly, because it's a possibility. Okay, so this is the center. So I want the door to be open here. Or do I want to do... Yeah, let's do 2 openings. So let's do 1... Whoops. I have a silk touch on me, right? Yeah, the shovel. The swift and silky. So we got that. So let me do that. So I think... Gosh darn it. Placing panes is still a pain. It's still one of the hardest things to do in the Minecraft. Okay, so wait, is that actually right? I think it is right. Yeah, that was going to be the idea. All right, brilliant. Okay, so yeah, that worked out awesome. I will need a little bit more of the black glass. Okay, and then I think it might be better. It's tricky because the perspective makes it look like this isn't enough to close this, because, well, honestly, it actually isn't enough. So I'm wondering if I should do one at the middle too. Let me make a little bit more pane. Let me make a little bit more pane. No, I have plenty of that. Plenty of pane. All right. So that is kind of the, if I'm looking for positive takeaways of the PAX South experience, that was certainly it. I unfortunately come back with some regret, some regret in that the trip kind of got mired with certain issues. Most of which, or most notably of which, was a little thing that I'm now way too familiar with, known as norovirus. Yeah, that's a good time. I've been very lucky. I have been very lucky. We've done quite a bit of traveling this, past, fiscal year. Not very early in the year. But Mindcrack Marathon didn't get sick. PAX West trip didn't get sick. That's very unusual for me. Generally, if I travel, I get sick. That's just the way it goes for me. So the fact that I did not get sick for either of those trips, very thankful for that. I'm very lucky. Unfortunately, this time around, only about 3 days into the trip, I seem to have either gotten the norovirus or just like super bad food poisoning, and that's the first stomach virus that I think I've had in my adult life. I mean I've had the upset stomachs. You get an upset stomach, you eat something that your body doesn't like or something like that. That happens, sure. But this was full-blown full grossness food poisoning. I broke a very long streak of not cover your ears if you're squeamish. Sorry, this is not the time for you. Of not vomiting. That streak has unfortunately come to an end. And although I didn't exactly have grand plans for PAX South, I never even made it to PAX South. I literally stayed in a hotel and couldn't move for most of that day and the day following. So that is unfortunate. Trying desperately not to dwell on things. Overall, it was a pretty bummer of a trip. I just did not end up having a very good time, thanks to that and other factors, and that's a shame, because a lot of my favorite people were there, and all I really want to do is spend time with those folks and you know, make memories together, blah blah blah. All that mushy crap. Wait, I think we need to go back to the do I need friends topic. But no, I do think it is important, and I think it's important to spend time with those people. These are the only friends I basically have left. Almost all of my friends locally, I unfortunately no longer talk with, and those connections are basically gone at this point. So it is pretty important to me. It is something that I don't take for granted. The importance of making friends in this community, or not just this community, but just, you know, in this era of my life. And yeah, things like that are important for that. I don't know how to balance that just yet. That is certainly a topic. Now I have plenty of topics on my mind, most of which I think are just a little too either personal or just too heavy for even this. But one topic that I definitely want to try and work my way towards is how to balance friendship versus fandom. As what I do here, you know, becomes more and more a real thing, as it becomes greater and the community grows in size, the scope of which you know, people know who I am across the world grows larger. It is still extremely small. That is still a very, very small bubble. However, it is, you know, a pool that is increasing in size. There's more people than ever. And the amount of people within that pool that I consider my friends also grows pretty regularly. And the tough part there is balancing, you know, I want to lead a community, and I want to lead a personality, basically. You know, I want to be known as somebody that is part of their own community. I don't want to be somebody that is, you know, a personality that is separate from the community. I want to be able to be reachable and approachable by anybody. That's something that's always been a major priority for me. There is, however, times in which people that are part of the community become part of my real life friend circle, and you know, I connect with or you know, just are in more contact with than others for various reasons. A lot of the times it's because those people, you know, either reach out and go above and beyond to help out. Oh, how done are they down here? I haven't looked at this progress in a while. Yeah, either help out with something, or, you know, we have a similar hobby somewhere down the line. Something usually inspires that connection. Oh wow, they are getting really close, aren't they? Is that the dungeon right there? Did he make a dungeon farm out of that? That's neat. Oh wow. Okay, so yeah, they don't... I was worried about taking stone, but they're getting really darn close to the bottom there, so it's not going to be a problem. So yeah, there's certainly always going to be... I think there's always going to be people that end up becoming friends of mine through what I do here. And that's interesting, and it's hard to balance, because not everybody is going to be at that level. And merging the two is certainly difficult, and balancing the two is difficult. Like, balancing talking to a group of people, and then some people in that group of people are at, like, you know, a different personal level. I mean, I don't want to... I'm not going to sit here and name names with that. It's just part of how that is. And balancing that is something that is certainly very difficult for me. It's hard for me to feel okay with that. But at the end of the day, this is the pool of people that I have that influence my life now. Like, this is basically the only way I interact with other humans. So it's just, if not from there, basically I'm just going to be very much so alone doing what I do. And I just question whether or not that's healthy or good sometimes. I'm gonna sleep off the night rather than walking over there in the darkness. So yeah, I don't really know if I have any grand point there. I just know that experiences like the PAX South trip and stuff like that, and meeting with people in real life, it's good. It feels good. It makes me feel complete, and it makes me feel like I'm still leading a normal life. And I'm grateful for that, and I appreciate that. You know, I have that ability. I just hope that there's not negative ramifications of that somewhere in the future. I don't think that there will be. I just worry that there might be. Does that make sense? I just don't know what the grand scope of that claim is going to be. I'm debating if I want... See, I think I want the roof... I think I want the ceiling to be higher where the bays are. But I still want to be able to use the attic space as attic space. So I don't want to make it like just a pure vaulted ceiling. What I'm thinking about doing is right in the middle, just doing like a little bridge. Although it would have to be 4 wide, which would block our lift area. I want the lift area to be the part with the roof, with the ceiling that's higher. So what I could do is just half and half. I could do it this way, and leave the front bay open. I don't know how I'm going to get up there either. That's a future problem. I also want the ceiling to have more design than this. I also want that creeper to not blow up my floor. Where did he even come from? Probably up there. How did he only blow up 1 slab? Well, that was very lucky. That was very lucky. Okay, let me finish closing this in. This is way too boring of a ceiling. I definitely don't want the ceiling to be just this, but since it's a half block up, I can do something like that. And it can get lower than that too. This is still... Gosh darn it, it's hard to place. this is still a pretty high ceiling, so I'm not too worried about the space there. Alright, I can do this. Dang it! Where did that even go? Got it. Alright. Why is it so difficult? Replace these two. I just want to see what this is going to look like. And what kind of options I have from there. And what does it look like from the front? That's the right height. And that's the right look. I'm pleased with that. I love the way this is going to look. I think this is going to look super cool. I do still wonder if I shouldn't do this. Does that make it look like the doors could actually close? Or does that now make it look like it's physically impossible for the doors to close? Like, that doesn't make any sense unless this rotated on its central point. Which doesn't make any sense either. But visually, it looks like it's enough door to actually close it now. I'll let you guys vote on that. I'll let you vote on that. I don't really... I feel like I need to button up that thought process, but I don't know how. It's something that's... It's new, it's different, it's not easy to explain, it's not easy... There's no, like... you know, final conclusion to this. This is something that's going to be part of my life and something that's going to be ever-changing for as long as I'm doing this, I do believe. And how I handle that in the future is going to play a major role in, you know, the shape of how I approach things in the future. It has a major impact on, you know, my day-to-day life. Okay. I'm alright with that. I'm probably gonna have to sit around and do some thinking about the design for that part. I think I'm okay with this ceiling design. I do want to do some more design to it. It's a little bit too boring, but I think I like the idea of having the open ceiling right here. And then what I would want to do then is probably close the walls in here with some kind of glass as well, so you could be looking down into the bays from above. Because I want to have like my studio area upstairs, so I want to make sure I leave enough room for that. Okay, so this goes all the way across here, all the way to the wall. Nope, I can't because I'm out. Oh, I got more stone though. So the positives are that I feel comfortable doing trips like that now. I feel comfortable with the idea that I did those kind of things, and I do those kind of things for real life me. Even though it's related to business me, honestly, and maybe this is unhealthy. That's another thing that I've been kind of contemplating. Maybe that's unhealthy. But honestly, there is no more me other than this me. The rest of me is gone. The only me is Cone Dodger now. And it just, at some point during this trip, that really clicked with me. That old me is really no more. And old me really wasn't that happy of a person anyway. Like, sure, maybe I had more local friends, maybe I had more connections with those around me and in, you know, day-to-day life, but I don't know that me was happier. There's a lot of other personal hang-ups with me that are, you know, still very, very heavy on my mind, and things that on the day-to-day, I would say, are issues, are outstanding issues. But if I could be comfortable with and be okay with, you know, Cone Dodger being me, then I think it's these zombies. Wherever these zombies are coming from are going to drive me insane. Then I think that's going to be a more positive future for me. However, I think, and it became apparent to some people that some things happened over the past week that just kind of like put me into a foul mood and put me into a, I would say, like a depressive state. I think a lot of that came from, that puts even more pressure on keeping this a thing. Because now it's more than what I do, it's also who I am. That was a tough realization of like, maybe too much hinges on this now. In defining who I am as what I do, that puts a whole lot of pressure, and there's a lot hinging on this stuff, on what is a pretty volatile thing. You know, this is not a secure thing that I'm doing here. So pessimistic me just worries that future implications of these decisions are going to be dire. And not like dwarf or wolf. Wait, is it dire wolf? Yeah, I think that's the other dire. That's a part of things that have been weighing on my mind and making me maybe a little bit more stressed out than usual. Also taxes. Also, I just did my first year of independent income taxes, and I messed up. I definitely messed. I knew I would. I knew I was gonna mess up. Like, I had predetermined and was fully prepared for the fact that there was no chance that I would get my taxes right the first year. I didn't do awful. I did not do so bad that I'm like, party downstairs. I didn't do so bad that I'm like completely. Oh, hi, you're upstairs actually. Oh, they're upstairs. They're not downstairs at all. There's a party upstairs. Hopefully there's no creepers up there. Apparently we need to work on some lighting next episode, or next time I'm working over here. I really want some sea lanterns. I don't remember what I was talking about now. Oh, taxes. Yeah, I didn't do so bad that I'm like absolutely unable to make ends meet and whatnot. But boy, I definitely owed a lot more than I expected. I underestimated just how big the penalty for self-employment tax is, and it was pretty daunting, pretty depressing. So I'm also dealing with that at the moment. So yeah, I'm just saying, fair warning, because you know I'm always chipper and full of positive energy. That's a lie. I feel like I might be in a little bit of a funk, and I might be in a little bit of a funk for a little while here. So get ready for lots of long rambles about not great things. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time.